this is an interesting deal. There's 5 inches difference here in these moisture block readings, and I'm sure they were read right, but it's interesting how we got there. We only had about 1.5 inches of irrigation and about 1 inch of rain, and that was during a week in August. So I don't know how we came up with 5 inches increase in soil moisture. Maybe that's just kind of typical of, or some of the issues you have to deal with when you're dealing with a single point monitoring device. But in Moore County, we had to it worked very well too. Another question you've probably got is how accurate are our ET forecasts? We ran this regression on what the actual 5-day average ET was and what we projected it would have been, and it lined up very well. And I think we've changed this algorithm a little bit this year, and I think this is going to get better. Another question you're probably going to wonder: well, what are we going to do without the Panhandle ET network? We knew that the ET network was having funding problems a couple of years ago, and so we began looking for other alternatives. And we're going to very interested to hear what Dana's going to have to say this afternoon. But we have identified other sources for ET data. We've got, I think we've got pretty good coverage south of I-40, and we've got good coverage in the Oklahoma Panhandle and Kansas. But in the North Plains, we're kind of without. But we have identified a source for the National Weather Service data, and we have built some equations and algorithms to use that to calculate the ET. And this is when we use our equations and to calculate what was reported, it lines up very well. We got a 0.96 R squared, and so I think we're going to be in good shape, even without the ET network. So that's the aqua planner. Be glad to answer any questions that you've got.
Yeah, Pat, I'm just wondering, your model takes into account the root zone, the active root zone, and some of what we'd shown and you've worked with as well, some of those root zones vary. How do you take that into account? Do you adjust your model, or are you able to adjust your model if you've got another source of information? And I'm just wondering if you try and model for that or take it into account somehow.
We just assume that the plant's going to have its maximum root depth at bloom stage. I hope this answers your question. And when it reaches the reproductive stage, and we're using just published data so far as what that effective root zone is going to be. Is that?
Pat, I have a question. Is in your farmers' field, is how deep the root zone is generally? Do you have any cases over deeper than 4 feet, even 5 feet, 6 feet? The roots can go there or not?
Yes. Yes. Roots will grow significantly more deeper than 4 feet, and it's what we're using for corn. However, because of the we don't anticipate there being much water drawn from below the 4-foot depth. Okay, now, and there will be some water possibly migrating back up, and we do account for that. I try to account for that. Okay.